Center, touchdown Washington. They answer the Cincinnati long drive with one of their own, a 1-yard touchdown run by Robinson. Now lining up at the Bengal 4. Washington, first and goal to go. Shotgun snap, hand fake to Robinson, taken by Daniels. He'll run over the tackle with ease, untouched. Touchdown Commanders. The boos cascading down. The rookie quarterback for Washington on a 4-yard touchdown run. And Washington has gone up 20-10 with 2:04 to go in the first half. Second goal, they brought in an extra offensive lineman under center. Daniels got the snap, fakes right, throws left in the end zone. It's caught by a lineman in the end zone, and it's grabbed by Trent Scott. The backpedaling thick six catch, a thick six. The lineman caught the touchdown pass. It was a yard away, and Washington goes up 27-13 early in the second half in Cincinnati. Third down and 7. Fourth quarter clock stopped at 2:15. Washington leads by 5. They're at the Bengal 27. Shotgun snap to Daniels. Blitzes on. Throws an arching spiral pass into the end zone, and it was caught by McLaurin. Was he in the corner? Yes! Yes, he was! Touchdown! In the back corner of the end zone. 27-yard touchdown. Knee was down, ball was caught, 2:10 to play, and if it stands, Washington would go up by 11.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. Stephen St. John and producer Jake Gutierrez, joined by Nate Bukaty for a couple of hours. We'll talk to Kansas head football coach Lance Leipold, former Royals reliever Jamie Bluma, Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com. We'll have some clips from Andy Reid's Zoom conference yesterday. Robert Mays from The Athletic will talk NFL with us. And then one of my favorite guests, we need to check in with him more often because he melts down on this show, Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports. I thought about him during Philadelphia's meltdown when they had that bad loss to the Falcons. Then I thought about him when they had that big comeback against the Saints because he's wild. And he also writes a very fun column at CBSSports.com each week about NFL overreactions. And so we'll see what he's overreacting to this week.
He was up late last night.
I'm sure that he was.
Covering the Phillies as they clinch the NL East.
I feel like that's a guy that didn't sleep.
Yeah.
He's just ready to talk sports at all times. And so Jeff Kerr, friend of the show from CBSSports.com, will be on at 9:30. We've got lots to talk about. Oh, boy. Last night on a Monday night football doubleheader, you know, let me tell you, last year, as the season progressed, I told you that I felt like Buffalo was going to be the Chiefs' biggest hurdle in the postseason. And even though they didn't face them in the championship game, they faced them in the divisional round, I still think that was the Chiefs' toughest game. Because I feel like too many people have tried to write Buffalo off too many times. And I just feel like when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Josh Allen, and then there's just a gap. And then you could, whoever you want to pick, number 3, make your argument. But I don't listen to anyone that tries to tell me that Mahomes isn't number 1, and I don't listen to anyone that tries to tell me Josh Allen isn't number 2. It's Mahomes and Allen, all right? And it's early, but I'm telling you, I watch a lot of football. To ask my wife, this is what I do. Buffalo's another team right now. That's if you ask me after 3 weeks, who's the team that is going to give the Chiefs the biggest problems, whether it's in the maybe not in the regular season. You know what? At the end of the day, I don't care. Because the Chiefs are going to get to the postseason, they're going to get to the playoffs, and everything will be judged on how they perform in the playoffs. And usually, they get an A+ because they win championships. All right? But the team that I think will give the Chiefs the stiffest challenge in the postseason will be the Buffalo Bills. Now, many things can happen. Injuries can happen. But I think, I just think as good as Josh Allen is, and this isn't recency bias. I'm not saying this because they looked good last night. I said this after week 1 when they didn't look good against Arizona. I said this last year. I said this in the offseason. I am a James Cook fan, and I think that's the best running back that Josh Allen has had at his disposal. And if they're willing to utilize him, they didn't need to use him too much last night. But that first drive, you saw him. That was all James Cook, and he looked terrific. And he's on my fantasy team, so it's just an added bonus for it. But I mean, Josh Allen, 23 of 30, 263 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 6 carries, 44 yards. He's got to stay healthy, but you can say that about every single quarterback in the NFL. I think he's got a very good partner now in James Cook. They were magnificent last night. Jacksonville they're spiraling. They're as good as Buffalo is, and as good as they looked. A lot of that had to do with Jacksonville being just god awful. They're terrible. I mean, you got to be to lose 47-10, but they absolutely had nothing for Buffalo. Trevor Lawrence looks like he's a rookie and doesn't know what he's doing. The team does not look prepared. The team does not look well coached, and Buffalo does. So, and after last, I think we can eliminate Cincinnati as the Chiefs' #1 hurdle. I think we've seen enough issues with Baltimore. I think they'll still be there in the end. Houston went up to Minnesota and got their asses handed to them. I mean, if there's another AFC team that you think is the #1 challenger to the Chiefs, then I'll listen. Then I'll tell you you're wrong, but I'll still listen because I'm that kind of guy. But it's Buffalo. It's Josh Allen. And there's every reason to believe that we will get Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Chapter 4 in the postseason. And there's every reason to believe it'll be freaking awesome. All right? So that was my takeaway from Buffalo, Jacksonville. No big surprise there. The other game couldn't happen to a nicer team, couldn't happen to a better team, couldn't happen to a team that talks more trash, that continued to talk this week, Cam Taylor-Britt this week said that Washington runs a nice college offense and doubled down on it and didn't shy away. He actually, I thought he was pretty cool about it in the post game, and gave them credit, but still said it was a college offense. But okay, Cincinnati's 0-3. I don't need to say much more than that. Cincinnati's 0-3, and the issue for them is, if you look at NFL history, it's not, the odds aren't good that you can make the playoffs after starting 0-3. You got some real issues if you're Cincinnati right now, and that's no breaking news. James Palmer tweeted, since 1990, 162 teams have started 0-3. 4 have made the playoffs. So they got their work cut out for them. The odds aren't great. they just got problems, man. And then the other takeaway, clearly, Jaden Daniels, my God. 21 out of 23 for 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 12 carries for 39 yards and a touchdown. And it's real simple, man. I watched that game, and I said, yeah, I've seen that guy before.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy that was in Columbia, Missouri, against a good defense, against a good team, we didn't know it at the time, but against a team last year that would only lose to LSU, and then a close game to LSU and a close game to Georgia, a team that would go on to win the Cotton Bowl and defeat Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. Go back and look at that box score.
Oof.
And what Jaden Daniels did to Mizzou. And tell me I didn't get my fill of Jaden Daniels. So that's no surprise to me. Now, I didn't know it was going to happen this quick. But that kid's a stud. And that kid is very easy to root for on and off the field. I like the way he goes about his business, and I like the way he cut the hearts out of the Cincinnati Bengals with that touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin late. Tremendous play, tremendous quarterback play. If you've been waiting for one of these rookie quarterbacks to stand up and identify themselves, like, I'm this year's C.J. Stroud. I'm the guy that's, watch me this year. Well, there you go. Watch Jaden Daniels. Will he have his ups and downs? Of course he will. But he's wildly talented. He can beat you with his legs. And any Mizzou fan that watched that game, which is probably all of them, if you're a Mizzou fan, you watched it. It'd be weird if you didn't. That watched that LSU-Mizzou game last year. And if you watched that game last night, yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yep. Jaden Daniels. Stud. Incredible performance. And to have it happen in a 38-33 victory over Cincinnati to put an 0-3 on Cincinnati, that's terrific. That's tremendous stuff last night on Monday Night Football. Now, what's not tremendous stuff is what's going on with the Royals. But we all took a step back yesterday, and we should come out of this thing feeling refreshed and feeling ready to hopefully watch the Royals go win some games against the Nationals in Washington starting tonight at 5:45. They have lost 7 in a row for the second time in the past couple of weeks. Yet, they are still considered right now in the playoffs a wild card team. So they got to stop thinking about it. They gotta focus on the future and not worry about what's happened in the past. They got to know that, hey, they control their own destiny. They're not a team that needs anything else to happen. They just need to win games. And clearly, that is easier said than done. But they don't need any miracles. I guess scoring 5 runs would be a miracle, whatever. But, they don't need anything from any other teams. They don't need anything weird. They just need to go out and win. They're 82-74. They're tied with Detroit. They have the tiebreaker with Detroit. Minnesota's a game back at 81-75. The Mariners are a game and a half back at 81-76. They got to win. And not only will this be intriguing to watch because it's the Royals and they are searching for their first playoff berth since 2015. Now, overall, the series doesn't look compelling because it's the Nationals. But let me give you a couple of extra reasons why this series has a lot of juice. Jake, I feel like maybe you have a soft spot in your heart for this all-star shortstop out of Washington, C.J. Abrams. Now, you won't be seeing him in this series, which is good, fine. Even though he struggled in the second half, I don't need to see him because I feel like right now the Royals are the kind of team that you get right against. All of a sudden, oh, C.J. Abrams has been cold and on fire this series. We don't have to worry about that because the Nationals demoted their all-star shortstop, C.J. Abrams, to the minor leagues after he stayed out all night at a Chicago area casino, leaving only hours before a Friday day game against the Chicago Cubs. This being reported by ESPN's Jesse Rogers. The 23-year-old led off the game for the Nationals, went over 3 of the walk and a strikeout. The game started at 1 o'clock Central. And so they did not like that. The Nationals did not feel that showed a commitment to excellence.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir.
And so
he was on a heater, supposed to leave, you know?
They sent him down.
I have a feeling this would have been probably 2010.
Yeah.
That's, if there were a minor leagues for CBS, they would have sent me there.
Right.
Doing the A10 tournament in Atlantic City.
Oh, no.
See? Even though he's been struggling, they were not considering sending him to the minors until they found out he had done an all-nighter at the Chicago casino before a day game.
And that's when I got the advice from one Mr. Bill Rafferty, who told me, young fella, if you're going to stay up this late, you need to go to the clear. Stay away from the brown stuff.
They said he left around 5 hours before first pitch. He left the casino.
Well,
5 hours?
plenty of time to get to the ballpark.
I think I don't have. That's yeah.
Abrams went hitless on that Friday and was summoned after the game into his manager's office, where he was questioned about a social media post on X that he was at Bally's Casino in Chicago until 8 a.m.
Nah.
Damn social media.
I know. What's he thinking, man?
Well, he might not have posted. Maybe somebody posted a picture of him.
Yeah, I think someone, hey, look, CJ Abrams is here. 8 a.m.
Damn it.
Maybe someone in the morning crew is getting there. Hey, wait a minute. There's a game at 1. He's here. But how do they know he just didn't get up early?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Went for a run in the
Yeah,
morning.
I was feeling lucky this morning, Skip.
Yeah.
Right.
I went for a little 3-mile run, little 5K, and feeling good. I thought I'd roll some dice.
I mean, I was on a streak. What am I supposed to do? Leave?
Right. And so if you're wondering, if you haven't been, paying close attention to the Nationals, they go, I know CJ Abrams. He was all-star. Where's he at? How come he's not playing? Well, there you have it. Okay? The other thing, and we'll end it with this. Look, we all deal with this losing streak in different ways. This is not easy for some Royals fans. Maybe you've already made playoff plans. Maybe you're a season ticket holder and your heart's being broken right now. I don't know. Maybe you've been gambling on the Royals during the 7-game losing streak, and you're losing. I don't know. I have no idea. But I am alarmed by some of the things I'm seeing on social media. And I don't know who Playoff Merv is, but it doesn't need to come to this. And I'm going to tell you what, Royals, you need to win a couple of games in Washington. Not just for your playoff chances, but for Playoff Merv here. Yesterday, I saw this post. I retweeted it and said, Royals, you got to win some games because this is serious. And I'm not condoning this. I don't know why this would be even mentioned, but it's out there. And the fan base is not taking this losing streak well. Playoff Merv, you see he posted a picture of an autographed ball here and a nice, looks like a granite countertop, and tweets, if the Royals miss the playoffs, I'll shove this George Brett signed ball up my ass and post a video of it. Now, see, we don't need this. That's not helping anyone. I get it. You are a passionate fan of Royals baseball.
You're crazy.
These guys already have enough pressure on them.
Right.
These guys are already pressing at the plate and on the mound. You think they need this hanging over their heads? Look, this losing streak has already been a pain in all of our asses.
Well,
We don't need this. Jake, is this something you think this is going to motivate anyone? I mean, he's saying a thread like, like maybe this will make. What are you laughing for? You got people out. This is
Because I want to root for the Royals, but this makes me want to not root for the Royals.
This is the guy that's on the ledge. This is the guy he's the losing is getting to people.
Maybe he likes shoving baseballs.
I don't think so. No. This is a George Brett autograph.
I mean, that's the thing about it. Don't deface that baseball.
That's what I mean. It's a baseball. You say, I got this, baseball, whatever. No. It's a George Brett autograph baseball.
Don't do that to George Brett baseball.
What are we doing?
That's a nice item. You can make. If
it looks like a very, very nice.
What are we
condition.
doing?
At least it's not a cat, right?
Hey, try to sell that thing at auction afterwards. Hey, this rubbed up with Mississippi mud?
No, it's
what are we
pine tar on
doing?
that. Get some pine tar on that ball.
Royals.
No.
Look what you're doing to your fan base. We can't have this.
Oof.
Because if you don't make the playoffs, we're not going to want to, but we're all going to watch this damn video. And I don't want to be put in that situation. Jake just said he kind of wants to see the video now, which I question Jake about that.
Well,
I want to see how if this Merv is it
playoff Merv.
Playoff Merv if he's a man of his word.
I don't want to find out. I want the Royals in the playoffs.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But the boys in blue, the boys don't need to see this. They got enough pressure on themselves.
The thing is, nobody put him up to it, right? Like, hey, would you do this if the Royals missed the playoffs?
He just
offered it out of nowhere.
I think people
If
pay
he's
money
trying
for
to
that
motivate,
kind of thing.
Right.
The fan base is
Don't
falling
do
apart.
it. Don't
the
do
fan
it.
base is falling apart. We can't have it.
Come on,
So
Merv.
the only way, that's right.
That's a nice baseball.
We need you,
Rally
Cole
for
Reagans.
Playoff Merv. Rally, get a couple wins, and put this, and maybe
he'll trade me. I got a Chris Berman autograph ball with Sammy Sosa's name on it.
maybe he'll do. I don't know, but I'm
Stick
just saying,
that up your ass and
And
say,
then
Not
maybe-
George Brett, though.
not
Come
George
on.
Brett.
maybe later on down the road we'll look back and say this is what they needed. This threat, this threat on their final off day of the season, and that's what pushed them over the top. I don't know. Maybe he's the genius here, and this is gonna propel them into the postseason.
Thank you, my
I
friend.
mean, you want your number one starter to go out there when it's all on the line. There's a lot on the line for Cole Reagans here tonight.
Yeah, Q walks out there. Hey, look, here's the deal. You don't get out of this inning. There's a real chance playoff Merv shoving that ball up his ass. We need you to bear down and get out of this inning.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, Cole's like, I kind of want to see that video.
Yeah,
though.
Oh man. Let's tell you, this is where it's at now. This is where it's at now, Royals.
It's dire.
Yeah,
I mean, it's dire.
The fan base is hurting.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Guys, win. Just go win. You're playing a team that just sent their shortstop down because he was gambling all night in the casino up until hours before first pitch. So it ain't like the Nationals are locked in right now. So take care of business, would you please, on behalf of the Royals fan base and playoff Merv. And you wonder if you're not on X, this is why you should be on it. There's not a whole lot of reasons why to be on it. This is one of them. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. welcome back to New Day with SSJ, Stephen St. John. Nate Bukaty's here.
Hey,
Jake Gutierrez.
I don't have any autographed George Brett baseballs,
No.
so for the record.
Thank goodness. Right now, we're happy to be joined by Kansas head football coach Lance Leipold. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm doing fine.
Coach, to start off, it was some bizarre circumstances. Again, you've dealt with this before, but a lengthy weather delay disrupted a good portion of the game. And look, I don't know how much it affected the game or how you handled it, but what was that like to have to deal with that again and having to get all the guys back in there and try to figure out what to do in that lengthy delay?
Yeah, it's a unique situation. We had one at Houston a few years ago. I think that's it since I've been here. But, it was about 90 minutes, I believe. We knew, at least, some of our support staff people, we were aware going into kickoff that something could pop up. Officials gave us some ideas about how far things were out, what could possibly happen. So, again, it's when you're the away team, which has happened both times, it's, you're kind of cramped in space and things like that, but you try to spread out. We were able to be in the tunnel area. The new bonus of having sideline tablets and video is that obviously we could utilize time to go back and really watch the first parts of the game. Staff could get together almost like a extremely extended halftime and go through it. So I thought we handled that part really well. Obviously we had taken the lead, but unfortunately, we're not. We're not playing our best football when our best football is needed, and that's something that, as head coach, I've got to take responsibility for, and we've got to find a way to get that done because we had a lead, and we didn't sustain the ball keep the ball when we needed to run clock, and we didn't get stops when we needed to.
I just had one other question about that, just out of curiosity. Like for players, like what is there like a certain thing they're supposed to do? Like eat some food, stretch out, get off your feet. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could go with that, and with so many players, they can't all do the same thing. But
Right.
Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, all the above, sort of. Obviously, we knew it was going to be. I guess that there's a benefit this time. I was told leaving the field, this could be at least 90 minutes. So leaving it wasn't going to be your typical 20, 30-minute one. Because what usually happens is within 8 miles, I think is what they said this time or whatever, between 8 miles, any lightning strike. Okay, well, so every time there's a lightning strike, you start the clock over again, and it's 20 minutes from the last one usually. So they give you a little countdown. So when we knew it was going to be a while looking at the system, they want to take their shoulder pads off or whatever for a while, be down. But as it's getting closer, yes, start stretching and doing those things. But yeah, we have fluid, snacks, and being in the early fourth quarter, as it went on, actually our post game meal was delivered. So and there were some sandwiches and things, so we could cut up the sandwiches and didn't hand them all out. But if somebody wanted something, they could have it because you need fuel for the body and that. I asked the bus drivers, which were parked in the tunnel, to start the buses in case we need to spread guys out, still have cooler spaces, if not for players, but for staff and everything. So the locker room wasn't as congested. So I thought we made the best of a tough situation.
Did you have to order more food, like for post game?
No, we didn't. There's one thing sometimes on these trips we don't struggle for food. There's sometimes we'll have something as they board the plane as well. So, and this was about just under an hour bus ride to the, especially with traffic, even with an escort. So there was enough spread out that we did have some, and fruits and other little snacks. But yes, we talked about if it ever happens again, what do we do? Do we look at concession food for support staff and coaches and make sure more nutritional food is available for just players and things like that? But we didn't have to get to that point.
All right, Coach. Listen, I'm just going to tell you the way it was for me watching this game and everything. I got this group of buddies from college. They're fans. They're emotional. They're texting and they're freaking out after the game. They're all upset because the teams had these rough games over the last few weeks. And my attitude is, I'm disappointed, obviously, that the team's losing, but let's not get this twisted. They're in all these games. Like they have a chance to win these games. And I don't want to sound like a fan with lowered expectations, because obviously it's disappointing if you don't win. But it was a lot more disappointing to me when the team was getting their asses kicked every single week, which is what it used to be like. I feel like this team isn't that far away. They could have easily won these games. Could have, should have, would have, all that. But for me, it's vastly different than it was before. And I'm curious, like, do you have to remind the guys of that? Or like, does even what I'm saying make sense from the standpoint of, I'm sure you guys are pissed that it's not going the way you want, but at the same time, it seems to me like the difference between getting these victories and not getting them is not that far of a bridge for you guys to cross right now.
Oh, well, that's a loaded question statement, Nate. First of all, not being here before, but yeah, you could sense some things upon arrival, and like we've talked about before, about expectations and where the bar's set and now where the bar is. So first and foremost, we're not going to lower standards of expectations. And when you lose close games, everybody's frustrated, and it's my responsibility to get things corrected, and I should be taking the criticism for that. And that's kind of what you sign up for. So any of that can come towards the head coach and trying to find a way to get this corrected. And then it kind of goes down from there, what we have to do and what we have to look at and what we're trying to get accomplished. The only thing, and I don't want to be out of both sides of my mouth, is the things though that are true that I feel is, we've talked about this for a long time. The same way we were able to win some games, that's the way this whole conference is now. It is so balanced. Everyone, you can look across some of the other games that were played later at night, and really somewhat of college football, is you got to be ready. You got to keep playing. You got to find a way to win. And again, finding a way to win on the road is even another obstacle, as many times you talk about. I think what's going to happen sometimes is, I don't know, I'm going to make up some numbers, that there's going to be top 12, 15 teams. You can still argue who they are. That'll somewhere, put themselves in a position to be in this college football playoff. And then teams 15 through 45 or something are going to be super, super close. And so are we in it? Absolutely we're in it, but we got to find a way to get over the hump and make things happen. So from where this program was, but we've taken those steps, and we don't want to regress. But it's a fine line, and we talk about it daily in this program. And again, not to overly repeat myself, but I promise is that if we would have won any of these games or all of them, there were still plenty of things that show up on tape that we would have to address, and we continue to address those. And all you can do is keep pounding away and trying to get it done, especially in the key moments. And I think that's where people are frustrated. They're frustrated with turnovers. They're frustrated at key moments when we've been able to generate some things that we haven't done those so far.
Lance Leipold is our guest. Coach, I know that a lot was made about offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes moving up to the box for the game, and quarterbacks coach Jim Zabrowski coming down to the sideline. And you said after the game you didn't know if it helped or not. You take a look and think about it. Was it more about giving Grimes a different perspective, or making Jalen Daniels more comfortable, since in the past he's used to having Coach Z in his ear there on the sideline? Mm-hmm. Did it help in your opinion?
I think it might help Jalen. It didn't help the outcome of the game, right? So, I mean, we can look at it this way. Jeff's done it both ways. Jim's done it both ways. I've had it where most of the time as a head coach, the two play callers, offensive and defensively, have been upstairs. But some of that I thought with, especially when Jim was up in the box for our bowl game, I thought it could give us some added things maybe for the pass game. Well, we did that some, and then we looked at it. Okay, maybe it would help Jalen if Jim was on the sideline all the way. I think it can work either way, to be honest with you. And both guys are extremely professional and willing to do what is best for this program, and will continue to do what is best. And I think here by tomorrow, sometime we'll make a decision about what we'll move forward, but both were very comfortable. Jalen hasn't expressed either one to me, and I haven't really approached it with him yet, which one he's most comfortable, but I will.
Hey, Coach, it felt like one of the big moments in the game was Cornell Wheeler suffering an injury late in the game. What can you tell us about him, and I guess just your depth at linebacker right now?
Yeah, we're still waiting. Monday's a tough day. I haven't got to anything with the injury reports where he'll be. Probably be in the questionable area today, and we'll see where that progresses. Cornell did get caught up. He tried to go back in, wasn't able to. Taiwan Berryhill's played a lot. This week will be one of those games where they're going to spread you out a lot and do some things. So, we've been playing really with two linebackers on the field a good majority of this season anyway. And a guy like Marvin Grant and Jason Gilliam have been guys. Now, Jason missed last week as well. Been guys that are playing at the second level, kind of in that hybrid position that we've kind of, gravitated towards. So, and that'll help us that way. J.B. Brown, as I said, is another guy that's on the field. Taiwan will move into the Mike position if Cornell's not available, and we'll kind of see where we go from there. Alex Reich is a older linebacker that's been in our program. Tristan Fletcher is a guy that. Again, has been a special teams player like Alex. Those would be some guys that would have to step up if Cornell's not available. Thought Tristan was probably our most improved player in fall camp, and he's gotten on the field for a few snaps. But again, not as experienced as what we have if Cornell's not available.
All right, Coach. Before we let you go this week, it's TCU at Arrowhead Stadium. TCU's coming off a couple of tough losses to UCF and SMU. Just maybe your quick thoughts about this week's opponent, and also, the challenges or the pluses, or just your thoughts on playing at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah, just on the opponent, again, like you said, they've gone through a couple tough losses. One was a late loss, losing a 3-touchdown lead, I believe, against UCF at home. Again, kind of going into what this conference is about. So. And then a rival game, SMU, Fort Worth versus Dallas. Coach Sonny Dykes used to be the head coach at SMU. A very emotional game, and it was at SMU, and SMU was on fire all day long. So again, this is another team, much like we played last week, that again is in just like us, in need for some good fortune and trying to find a way to get a win. So they're going to come in here. Probably the best quarterback receiving core we've played to date, so that'll be a heavy challenge. I think they probably got about 40 guys that still on the roster from their national championship appearance of really 18 months ago. This team played for a national championship, and they were 5-7 last year, and they're hungry to get back going. And again, that's another example of to me, of what the parity of college football can happen. And if you get on a right roll, because if we remember back 2 years ago, after losing Jalen in the first half, we went toe-to-toe with this team when College Game Day was here, and again, close, but couldn't close it in that game to beat a TCU team that went on to play for a national championship. So once again, margin of error is small. Being at Arrowhead, we're extremely excited. I hope our fans and anyone in the Kansas City metro area will come out and watch this team play in a great stadium and a great atmosphere and make a difference for us. And I know our players will be excited to have that opportunity to kick off there.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for the time, and we will talk to you next week.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks for the opportunity. Rock chalk.
That's Lance Leipold, head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks. This Saturday, Arrowhead Stadium against TCU at 2:30 kickoff right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Now look, that's not a George Brett autographed baseball you got over there, is it? We'll be starting that in here.
It's not a cat.
I'm glad you caught that.
I'd spit out my iced tea.
That's a real sign of desperation by this fan base, isn't it?
I get it. I mean,
Do you?
You do.
You
huh?
Do you?
to
Alright,
some degree.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
Each
on.
their own.
I mean, a week ago I sat right here, struggling, and I think I looked at our odds last week. It was like 93%.
Right,
Man, like,
yeah.
hey, we're stretch run. Let's
Good to
go,
go.
boys. Let's go. Let's go get a few. And here we are, almost on the outside looking in. How in the hell are we still tied for the second wild card spot? Which is
Twins.
unbelievable to me.
Thanks,
Is
Twins.
how bad. Not only have we played, I mean, only team that's played good clearly is Detroit. Everybody else is just sucks. And what?
And look, I want it this year, but isn't this almost an argument that, you know what, maybe 3 wild card teams are too many? I get it. Hey, it's exciting. We're involved in this, but man, that third wild card, unless it's that Detroit's going to earn it.
Sure.
The other team is going to be hanging on for dear life, barely making it in. Now, we've seen teams like that go on and win a series or two and go on a run, but boy, this isn't a case for 7 worthy playoff teams.
You know what? But I like the 6 total teams in the playoffs because if you look at any other sport, you know, the percentage of teams that make it to the playoffs, baseball's always been on the low end of how many teams get to the postseason. And so the fact that I don't know what the percentage is of 6 out of 30 is. Is that 20%? That's still not a ton of teams to get in. So I like it. I mean, it just tells you how much games earlier in the season matter. And the fact that we played as well as we did early in the season to go through 2 stretches. I wouldn't have not thought in a million years with the starting pitching that we have, no matter what our offense is, to have 2 7-game losing streaks within a month with who we're running out there on the mound 4 out of 5 days. And we still have had 2 7-game losing streaks. So we were hanging by hanging by a thread with our offense most of the season, and now it's caught back up to us.
It'd be 12 out of 30.
12 out of 30.
I don't know why it's
Oh,
so
sorry.
It's like
6, but
6 on each side.
40%.
here's the funny thing about this too. The way it stands right now, the Royals would still face the Orioles in the
Still,
first round.
I just looked-
Orioles are a disaster too.
Right. So that's
I mean,
if we
do
do get in, I don't mind going there.
yeah.
You know.
Well, even back a month ago, that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to avoid Houston and play Baltimore in the first round if it was going to be a choice between the two.
Right.
And I think it's pretty easy choice. You know, I mean, Houston's a division winner, but that 4-game series that knocked some sense into me. And Baltimore is just not just lately, for a long stretch, they've been a mediocre team.
Long stretch. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to talking about it, putting the numbers on paper. Like they haven't been good since before the All-Star break. You know, they played that good early. They were battling early with the best record in the major leagues, and then have been not even 500 for the majority of the second half of the season.
But I mean, God, I can't believe they've had 2 7-game losing streaks. Because what did we talk about for the majority of the season?
They never had 'em.
This team is not going to have long losing streaks because the starting pitching is too good.
It shocks me.
And it's just like one time, okay, well, offense was struggling and whatever else, but to have it happen twice and have it happen so close together, that's just wild.
It is wild.
It feels to me like the Vinny Pasquantino injury was even more devastating than we thought it would be when it happened. I don't want to put it all down to that, but like we thought, like they are so limited offensively. They have so few good players offensively that losing one guy that could just make a difference seems like it's just really.
Well, and one of the things that hasn't happened over the last 3 weeks is somebody hasn't accidentally had a big day. You remember that?
Right, yeah,
Darian
yeah.
Blanco accidentally had a big day.
Yeah.
Or somebody else accidentally had a big day. Or MJ Melendez, I've said it 1,000 times this year, I don't care if he goes 1 for 5. hit a 3-run home run. That hasn't happened. And here we are, like, God dang, guys, I wanted to go to a playoff game. And we've already finished this season above 500 after losing only winning 56 games last year. This season has been a success. It certainly doesn't feel like it right now with 6 games to go and what's happened over the last 3 weeks.
They can turn it around, man.
They still can. I mean, we're still – I looked at the stats this morning, 68. I mean, we're still tied for the second wild card spot. So go 3-3 right here. I think we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, three wins seems so far-fetched, but
right. Well, and here's the tricky thing too.
They better do it in Washington. They better get 2 wins in Washington.
Well, here's what worries me a little bit. We're seeing a guy tonight we've never seen before.
That spells disaster.
That hasn't been good. I mean, that's why I was like, man, win one of those first 2 games against the Giants because you know you're seeing Snell on Sunday.
If you have a 6 or 7 ERA, your chances of performing well against the Royals are very high.
Correct. So I don't even know. And I just look up this kid played at San Jack that we're facing today, Parker. Well, that smells. I don't know, man. Go get us a win today. I was relieved we had a day off yesterday.
Yeah.
They needed it.
Yeah.
Well, we needed it.
Everyone needed it.
that baseball needs it. That George Brett baseball needs it.
We got Jamie Bluma
PVC
in
pipe needs
studio on WHB.